Well, actually, I started out as a barber. Actually, I was a father at 15 years old. I was a father of 2 at 17. But as a barber, I started winning many national championships, including the silver medal in the World Championships, and eventually ended up cutting Paul Newman, Robert Redford, Steve McQueen, Frank Sinatra, and many others. And it was all good from then on. Well, Sebring products, Markham products, ABBA Pure Natural Hair Care, PureOlogy Serious Colour Care, and just in the process of doing another one. We recently just sold PureOlogy to L'Oreal 4 months ago, and so now we're working on another project. Well, it was a process of venture capitalists and going back and forth, but I'd say the process was about 6 months. It'll be in hair or skin care. The distribution mode is yet to be determined, so we're just in the process of developing. We're looking to develop better products that perform, because the technology keeps improving, and we throw caution to the wind when it comes to price. We always go for highest performance. Once we get highest performance and then position it, which we have not done yet. But it could be on the internet, it could be in Sephora, it could be a whole host of different opportunities that we hadn't yet determined. Yeah, I would say in the next year. It takes from start to finish, from when you start up and get the right formulas, get the right packaging, get all the compatibility, all the legal and all the things. It takes about a year, 10 to 12 months to get ready to ship. Well, our mission was basically to enhance the lives of hair colorists' lives by providing them with superior products that help their services and kept coloring longer, which made their clients very happy. And they immediately got that it was a superior product, and since the hair was damaged, they knew immediately that improved the condition of the hair and helped the color. So that was basically our mission, and it worked extremely well. Well, we had quite a few. We were the first to come out with a sulfate-free shampoo. Sulfate-free means it doesn't have a lot of the harsh ingredients that irritate the scalp, damage the hair. And it also is not color stripping. We were one of the first to do nanotechnology, which protects, repairs, and moisturizes the hair superior. We had an anti-fade complex, which prevented UVA, UVB sunscreen from fading the hair. And we had a lot of sunscreens as well, and a lot of other technologically advanced ingredients that really produced a longer lasting hair color guaranteed, which was on every bottle. So we had a lot of unique USPs there. Well, I think you need to be very passionate about what you do. You're not going to make it work if you're not passionate. It requires a great deal of work. You need a business plan. You need to find the niche that you love. You need to determine what your competition is doing. You need to know exactly what your competition is doing in order to position your own product. And then you got to raise the money. And then you got to get ready to start making it happen. Well, I kind of put those into two categories. One's a sprinter. That's one that starts companies, gets them going, and puts teams together and creates the niche and the packaging and how to sell it through and try to foresee and tackle all the problems. And then there's the long distance runners. That's the people that manage the companies and grow them up from where you start them. I fall into the serial entrepreneur category of a sprinter. once it's going well, it's doing well, and I've really made it happen, and it's probably at its easiest. It's kind of an interesting scenario, but I'm less interested when it's. I don't like the daily mundane dealing with the systems and procedures we set into place, and you're really dealing with problems, and it's not nearly as fun to me. Very. That's probably one of your biggest problems as an entrepreneur, is getting people to believe in you and what you're doing, because the risk reward looks very, very risky. And every time I ever did it and was trying to get funding, it was not what you did before, but what can you do now? And we were fortunate to get funding each time, but it's very difficult to get people to invest in your ideas. I mean, you got to really be willing to put it all out there and go for it. Well, you know, I won California, Arizona, and Nevada, the Regional Entrepreneur of the Year. And then in November, Jay Leno is the host, and all the winners from around the U.S. will come together, and then there'll be an entrepreneur, National Entrepreneur of the Year, and then they go on for the World Championships, and I think it's Monaco. So I think that's a very exciting time. And I really think that's really very special for me, having had my background of not having a great deal of education. It's really exciting. Well, starting out as a stylist and having cut many big celebrities' hair, the biggest in the world, and having been around a lot of very successful people and see what they like, I think helped me a great deal in formulating products. And being a member of the Society of Cosmetic Chemists, I study ingredients and what they do and how they repair the hair. And I take that information, I give it to the chemist, and then he puts it together, and we keep developing products that way, with not cost, not the issue. It's the performance first, price later. And I think that's very unusual, because most people go for, most CEOs or vice president of marketing say, okay, make a product within a certain range. Well, you can only make the quality within a certain range. And we don't do that. We throw caution to the wind when it comes to price, and we go for the best performing product that money can buy, regardless of price. And then when we get there, then we just price it accordingly. And the luxury consumer is trading up. They want the best, they'll pay for the best, and it really is the way to go. I think the creative and marketing probably comes the easiest. I think they all come hard in a way, but if you're passionate about it, you know, the thing you're most passionate about will come the easiest. And marketing and creativity and product development is my forte, and I like that the best. Although I'm very good at analyzing the financials and the aging and the operations and reviewing that, which I did, it's not particularly fun. I think one of the greatest advantages of an entrepreneur is they know everything about the company. They're into everything. One of the disadvantages of an entrepreneur is they know everything and they're into everything, and delegating is one of the problems with a good entrepreneur as they get bigger. And that was one of the things I was trying to delegate, because you lose margin as you get bigger, because there's just errors in each department that you as an entrepreneur are not used to seeing. So you really hate to see anything not as profitable as it possibly can be. But it also is your downfall too, because you have to delegate and you have to get it to the next level, which requires more good people. So getting good people and delegating is probably one of the hardest things. But I think we built a great team, and I was getting very good at that as well. Well, you know, I try to look at things and try to determine what is most important, and then I try to deal with that first, and then I try to delegate what I think within our team their abilities are, and delegate it to them, and then I like them to report back to me and show me what they did and why. Once I hear why and how they did it, I think I'm of the opinion that if you give me enough information, I will figure out the right answer. If you pay them well, you make them part of the team, they're part of the family, give them ownership in it, and you're all on the same goal of accomplishing the same thing, and you're good to them. I mean, you really need to be good to the people because they are the lifeblood of the business, and your success really depends on them. So it's really important you take good care of them and pay them properly. Well, it's all about the consumer. If you create a niche, you find a niche that you think is unfilled or worth pursuing, then how can you give the customer what they need, what they want, and how can you create a superior mousetrap, so to speak? And how can you deliver and execute that in the most efficient way and have the best look, the best feel, the best product. And it's really a team effort, but we always study our competition. We know what their strengths are, we know what their weaknesses are. So when we go out there and we test a product against any product, we know that we can usually, in fact always, outperform on any head, on any time, any place, anywhere, because we've done it. So when we go out there, we're not really just guessing, do we have a better product? We know we have a better product. And we do that. I've done that with every product line I've had. And you know, with ABBA, we had Pure Natural, aromatherapy with Markham products. It was the daily shampooing for men and cutting the shape in. And Sebring was very, very similar. And the next product will be have a different niche as well. So there's a lot of niches, and it's just really figuring out what your competition's doing, how to go about making your niche work, putting it into a pricing category. We believe that if you got the very best, you can charge the most money. And you look at your competition, and we did, and we wanted to be right at the top of the pricing. We believe it's all about the customer, and if you don't take care of the customer, you won't have any business. And so we believe in training our people very well. They got to treat the customer very courteous. They got to service them well. They got to give them what they want and what they ask for. And if they can't do that, they need to find out how to get it to them. But they got to be taken care of, and they got to be taken care of promptly. We used to bring our people in. I really can't get into what we did at PureOlogy, but we used to bring our people in regularly with all our companies and make sure that they understand customer service inside and out. I think one thing that we do that, or I do that is different is when we get our paper, you know, the Daily Mail or whatever it is, handle it right then. Don't handle it twice, handle it once. When it crosses your desk, open it up and handle it. The most important things I handle first. The other things I delegate. If I can delegate to different people, I delegate it. But then I want to make sure that it's done, and they need to report back that it's completed. So it should cross your desk one time, not two times. Not put aside and done later. Directly if possible, or by phone, not email. Emails, I'm not that fast, and I prefer just talking about it and getting it and moving on. I like them to respond back to me in email so that I know they heard me. I think it would be extremely helpful because I know we hired no one unless they had a degree. Unlike myself, who didn't have the degree, we believe that it's extremely important that they are well educated and they know how to learn and they know how to hopefully take the company to the next level, and that's what it's going to take. Well, you know, Cheryl and I, my wife of 30 years, which is a pretty big goal, we have earned a lot of money from this business, and we've done very well, and we want to give back. We were big supporters of NOC, that's the ovarian cancer organization. City of Hope we give to, Vidal Sassoon, Katrina Relief Fund. We've bought one house, and we've helped them in many different ways. But we really enjoy giving back to our profession, and that was so good to us. We still want to keep working and keep developing products and doing great things, but we think it's time to start giving back. We think that not only is it the right thing to do, but it's really good for business as well. Because I think one of the studies that my wife found was that 86% of people would rather do business with companies that give to organizations. So part of the proceeds go to help something, they'd rather buy that. So, and I really believe that. I mean, when we do media blitzes in New York and LA, which we've done, we used to do twice a year when I was a CEO of ABBA, I'd say 40% of them wanted to know about what we was doing with NOC or Vidal Sassoon or any of the other things. They were just as interested in that nearly as the product we were showing. I got three, actually. Paul Newman was my life role model. I mean, I cut his hair at a young age, and he was such a gracious, great guy, and I mean, it was so good to learn a lot. He taught me a lot. He was kind of like a father, and I admire him tremendously as my life role model. My creative models would be Jay Sebring, who was killed in the Manson murders in '69 with Sharon Tate, and then of course Vidal Sassoon are my creative role models.
You know, there are many people to respect in our craft, none more than Jim Markham. I have known him since the '60s. This was taken in 1967 in Dallas. This was taken recently. And Jim, congratulations. No one deserves it more, and you're a good friend.
Well, the one book that actually got me out of where I was raised, and I still consider it my best book because it made me, I wouldn't be sitting here today if I hadn't read it, is Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. In the book, I was in Farmington, and I just won the silver medal in the World Championships, and I went from $1.50 to $6.50, but I really couldn't build up at $6.50. So I couldn't understand why I couldn't, and in the book it really clarified why. It says if you're in a place where you can't do what you want to do in life, pack your bags and move. 2 weeks later, I packed my bags and I moved, and then of course the rest is history. When I quit cutting hair, I was charging $75 a haircut, which was the highest price in the world, and I cut just a tremendous amount of celebrities, and it was very good for my career, and it was a very, very fun time. I think it was, from a talent point of view, from being able to do the hair point of view, it was quite easy. I think transitioning from a New Mexico boy to the Beverly Hills scene, the Hollywood scene, I think culturally it was hard for me to fit in, but I think after about 6 months I started feeling pretty comfortable, and I became friends with a lot of the people that I was cutting their hair, and then it became easy. But it took a while. We actually do a lot of aerobics. We do spinning. I'm a master checker player. I play online. Actually, there's a lot of world champions playing online nowadays. But we do mostly exercise, and we go to a lot of movies. We eat out a lot, plays. We're quite active, actually. I would say when we sold ABBA products that I thought that, you know, I came from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and was cutting there, and I was like the big, we started men's hairstyling there, and I thought that I could go back there. I had a non-compete of 5 years, And we went back there, and I started cutting hair, and I was charging $35, which here I was charging $75, and it was much too high there. It was a $10 marketplace, and I'm charging $35. So it wasn't working, and so I went down to 30, and I went down to 25, and I finally ended down at 20, and after about 6 months, I thought I was going to go broke. But I finally started building back up. But I would say we were there 6 years, and Cheryl and I worked on a business plan for 3, and trying to raise capital to get back in the products business was very, very difficult, and nobody wanted to invest in us. They didn't think we could do it again. As usual, it's the same thing every time, by the way, that you do something, the next time is always just as hard as it was the last time. It probably would be now if I was trying to raise the money. But it took us 6 years from start to getting the money before we could come back to California and start ABBA, Pure Natural Hair Care. And I would say those were the hardest 6 years of my life, standing there trying, and actually I wasn't very good cutting women's hair at that time. I'd been cutting men's hair, and I wasn't really very active here because I was working with products and sales and running the business and so forth. Then when I started cutting hair full time, I was a little rusty. So I maybe wasn't worth the price that I was charging. And so I got back into it and made it work, and I've never failed at any company. But I think not failing is just don't ever give up. I mean, you know, we were all made to win. We were all made to succeed. You have to choose to fail or to win. It's where you're going that counts. Don't let your past hold you back, because it's all about the future. That's an interesting question, because I was just awarded the Lifetime Achievement for a Hall of Leaders by NAHA. That's the biggest organization in professional hair care. There's only been 12 given in the last 30 years. But I'd have to say either that or winning the Ernst & Young regional championship for the 3 states might be more impressive to me, not having the education and winning something against all of the PhDs and all the educated people in the country was very rewarding. I'd already won all the stuff in the creative side style-wise. So I'd have to say the Ernst & Young would be the most impressive to win, because that kind of rounded out my lack of education for me personally. Absolutely. I definitely would get as much education as possible, and I would get an MBA. Look and be sure of what your competition is doing. Make sure you find the right niche. Make sure you have a good business plan. Try to get the numbers real accurate. Try to see what your real burn rate is going to be, how much money you're really going to need, and be prepared for it to be slower than you think it's going to be, and be prepared for it to be a little more difficult. But if you're ready and you've got the passion and you've got the niche, you can definitely do it.